Smash that like button as soon as y'all come in the building. This shit is crazy. Cassie Ventura, she is so scorned that she is not playing no games with Diddy Glover. And she don't give a damn that she got paid $30 million. She still want to see Diddy Glover do life in prison, no less than 11 years during survival. This is crazy, guys. I mean, the candles is all burnt. Look at this. This is all of the meditation that I be doing with y'all. And look at the candles. I mean, it's black as a motherfucker all around the rim. Around the candle rim look like Wesley Snipes, the back of Wesley Snipes' neck. That's how black the candles is. From all of the meditation that we've been doing together amongst each other during survival. Meditating and everything else. But this is crazy, man. I'm gonna wait for everybody to come in the building. Cassie done wrote the judge, man. They trying to microwave oven the shit out of Diddy Glover. They trying to cook this man. This is crazy, guys. The prosecution is asking for 11 years, and they got Cassie pretty much to write the judge for the second time. This ain't the first time that Cassie did this. Salute to Stacy Gloria. Cassie is not playing no motherfucking game. Out of all the times that we sitting there saying that, look, Cassie need to be happy. Cassie, you got $30 million. Why the hell ain't you out shopping and shutting the hell up? Cassie, man, she says she's still going through a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, that Diddy Glover took her through the trauma century. That she never been through this much trauma and pain and suffering ever since she got in the arms of Diddy Glover, since she got in the Diddy Glover's freak-off dungeon. So Cassie is trying to cook the shit out of Diddy, man. Diddy's sentencing is this Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all know we're going to be covering every minute, every moment, every second. If Diddy faint inside the courtroom, we're going to get all of that. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, man, Cassie wrote, a curious baby, salute the curious baby. Cassie wrote a letter to the judge, guys. The second letter. And that letter is horrible, pure horrible. She says she was forced to do all of these things that for 10 years, it was just terrible. Like, you know what I'm saying? She said she felt so humiliated, like doing all the whole shit that she was doing, pure survival. She didn't like the urine all in her eyes. And she said that she had STDs. This is what Cassie said out of her mouth, that she's still dealing with STDs and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Up to this day. And she want Diddy to do damn near life in prison. Pure Bible. So she working with the DA, guys. They trying to give Diddy 11 years this Friday. And Cassie wrote the letter to man.
Not a news breaking overnight in the Sean Diddy Combs case. Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katursky here with the latest. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning, George. Federal prosecutors say Sean Combs was violent, abusive, and unrepentant. So while Combs was acquitted of more serious charges, this morning, federal prosecutors say he still deserves at least 11 years in prison following his conviction on 2 counts of transportation for the purposes of prostitution.
Do y'all hear that? The man is locked up for prostitution. He beat all of the other serious charges, but they still want Diddy Glover and his freak-off waves to do 11 years in prison. Pure survival. She allowed pure justice if that's what she wants. Pure survival. And I feel you. You know what I'm saying? I totally agree with you if that's what she wants. If that's how she still feels. I mean, the girl got $30 million and she's still on Diddy's neck. Like, she don't give a damn how many people feel like, look, you need to get over it. You got your motherfucking money. Go somewhere. Shut up. Cassie still want the worst for Diddy Glover. And my whole thing is, I just still do not feel like Cassie was no victim. Pure survival. After me listening to those sex workers and after me seeing the things with my own two eyes at the trial, pure survival, you know what I'm saying? I just don't know why Cassie, listen, whatever shit with her, Cassie and Diddy, that shit was like personal because I feel like she wasn't no victim. But in her eyes, she feel like she was. I wasn't there, you know.
Not a news breaking overnight in the Sean Diddy Combs case. Chief Investigative Correspondent Eric Tursky here with the latest. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, George. Federal prosecutors say Sean Combs was violent, abusive, and unrepentant. So while Combs was acquitted of more serious charges, this morning, federal prosecutors say he still deserves at least 11 years in prison following his conviction on 2 counts of transportation for the purposes of prostitution. That is a far more severe punishment than Combs' attorneys recommend. They cast him as a reformed domestic abuser and are seeking time served, saying anything longer would...
Now you see this? Diddy's lawyers is trying to get time served. Because like I said, Diddy is locked up for prostitution. The serious charges are gone. Salute to my baby coming in the building, pure survival. The real serious charges are gone already, but they want the most severe sentence possible. 7 years for putting on a freak off mask and watching this girl have sex with all of these wieners. All of these wieners. And all the fucking sex workers said that Cassie enjoyed it. But Cassie like, hell no, I am a victim. I'm going through trauma. I'm going through herpes outbreaks. This is what Cassie's saying in the letter.
Serious charges. This morning, federal prosecutors say he still deserves at least 11 years in prison following his conviction on 2 counts of transportation for the purposes of prostitution. That is a far more severe punishment than Combs' attorneys recommend. They cast him as a reformed domestic abuser and are seeking time served, saying anything longer would amount to a perversion of justice. But prosecutors point to hotel security camera video of Combs attacking Cassie Ventura to argue Combs held all the power over
y'all see that?
Prostitution. That is a far more severe punishment than Combs' attorneys recommend. They cast him as a reformed domestic abuser and are seeking time served, saying anything longer would amount to a perversion of justice. But prosecutors point to hotel security.
This right here is what is they really going off of during survival. This video, when Diddy was running down the motherfucking hallway with the freak off steroids in his system, pure survival, holding up the towel, chasing Cassie down the goddamn hallway. This is what they're holding up to get the 7 years during survival. And the whole thing is with me, ladies and gentlemen, when I first saw this, because what happened in this hotel was horrible. We all know and accept that what happened to Cassie running down that motherfucking hallway with this raincoat on, with the hood on, like it was raining in the hotel. This was terrible. But to me, this was domestic violence, pure survival. In this same video, Cassie went back to Diddy this same night. So I look at this shit totally different. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all I was at the trial. Me and my woman went to the motherfucking trial. Okay? She sat in the courtroom, pure survival. I was outside the whole time, damn near with the people. But for 1 minute, I was in there with Diddy Glover. And Cassie, to me, was a willing participant. She bought the fucking prostitutes. Like, all right, you wrote one letter against me. Why the hell you got to write another motherfucking letter? But Cassie, whatever Cassie feels strongly about Diddy, she wants the worst to happen to him. Pure survival. Smash that like button, guys.
They cast him as a reformed domestic abuser and are seeking time served, saying anything longer would amount to a perversion of justice. But prosecutors point to hotel security camera video of Combs attacking Cassie Ventura to argue Combs held all the power over people he transported while they ended up bloodied and bruised. They say the sentence should reflect Combs's decades of unchecked violence and the substantial psychological, emotional, and physical damage.
That is what domestic violence does to a person. Yes, but domestic violence does not cause 7 years in prison. 7 years? Like, Cassie, you already won. You cleaned me out. The whole world knows that I'm a sick pervert. The whole world knows that I'm a transgender woman behind the scenes now. The whole world knows that I like to come. I like you to pour a sperm out of your vagina and pour it on my nipples. He's already cooked. But Cassie going all the way to the end, ladies and gentlemen. She's like, fuck all that. I want him to get the worst of the world. This girl wrote 2 letters to the judge. That's crazy.
While they ended up bloodied and bruised. They say the sentence should reflect Combs's decades of unchecked violence and the substantial psychological, emotional, and physical damage he has inflicted. Defense attorneys call the government's recommendation draconian, saying it amounts to verdict be damned, lock him up, and throw away the key.
Wow, see? So Diddy's legal team said it's prudentious to lock Diddy Glover up and throw away the freak off key just for prostitution. It's credentials. And I don't even know what the fuck credentials mean, but I know it's a big ass word. Did y'all hear what they just said? It's credentials. What the fuck does credentials mean?
Emotional and physical damage he has inflicted. Defense attorneys call the government's recommendation draconian.
No, they called it draconian. Can somebody put a 1 in the chat if y'all know what quadronian is? I don't know what the hell a quadronius is. Y'all got to smash that like button. Diddy's legal team said this is quadronius. This is quadronius jelly.
Of unchecked violence and the substantial psychological, emotional, and physical damage he has inflicted. Defense attorneys call the government's recommendation draconian, saying it amounts to verdict be damned, lock him up, and throw away the key. Robin's sentencing is set for Friday.
Yes, it is. All right.
So this Friday, Cassie got a letter already to the judge trying to nail Diddy Glover to the freak off cross. And my whole thing is the things that were said in the goddamn trial, Cassie was just as guilty as Diddy Glover to me. Not with the domestic violence. Well, yeah, even with that.
Ventura said Sean Combs directed the freak-offs, and she and Combs would find these male sex workers to take part in them using Craigslist. Ventura said Combs dictated everything, the use of baby oil, the sex acts that Ventura engaged in with the...
So she said her and Diddy both would look for the male sex workers, but Diddy Glover produced them. Like he the one who directed. Look, stand over there. Look, all right, there's 2 dinglings. Make both of the dinglings disappear so I can sit here in my mask and I can stare and watch and choke my Roku remote. But this is sound like she was doing it with him.
Sex parties that Ventura would take part in with male sex workers. Ventura said Sean Combs directed the freak-offs, and she and Combs would find these male sex workers to take part in them using Craigslist. Ventura said Combs dictated everything, the use of baby oil, the sex acts that Ventura engaged in with the escorts, the drugs that were used, including Viagra, and the length of the freak-offs. The freak-offs took place in Combs's homes in several cities, in Ventura's homes, and in hotels across the globe. And in some instances, these freak-offs became violent. And federal prosecutors say they have proof of that. It's this video from a hotel hallway in...
This is the main thing. The hotel hallway. So Diddy and Cassie was having freak-offs all over the United States. I'm talking about baby oil stains, poop stains all over the walls in all these hotels across America. And she had a chance to leave. She could have got away from the motherfucker. You already got all this goddamn money and you still gonna write the judge to try to put me under the jail? All I'm saying to y'all, I don't give a damn. I don't feel like Cassie was no victim. I don't. And I'm going to prove it.
Across the globe. And in some instances, these freak-offs became violent. And federal prosecutors say they have proof of that. It's this video from a hotel hallway in Los Angeles in March of 2016. It shows Combs chasing Cassie Ventura out of a hotel suite. We've edited parts of it. Ventura says Combs hit and kicked her and dragged her back
Okay,
to the
look,
room
this
when
is
she tried
terrible.
to leave a freak off.
This is terrible.
Ventura described it this way on the stand. When I chose to leave, I grabbed what I could and I got out, and Sean followed me into the hallway before the elevators and grabbed me up, threw me on the ground, kicked me, tried to drag me back to the room. He took my stuff, yeah. Ventura told Combs in a text.
And he did all of that, and she went back to Diddy Glover, pure survival. And she did not have a gun to her head or any of that.
That she wanted to take part in the freak off because she had a movie premiere, but she also didn't want to mess up her body. But she testified she told him she wanted to do the freak off so she wouldn't sabotage her movie premiere.
Look, she said she wanted to do the freak off, but she had a movie premiere going on, so she didn't want to do it because she knew that she was going to have to do all of those drugs, all of those freak off backflips, pure survival, make all of those dinglings disappear, get her cheeks clapped from every different angle, but she wanted to do the freak off, ladies and gentlemen. She is no victim.
The ground, kicked me, tried to drag me back to the room. He took my stuff, yeah. Ventura told Combs in a text that she wanted to take part in the freak off because she had a movie premiere, but she also didn't want to mess up her body. But she testified she told him she wanted to do the freak off so she wouldn't sabotage her movie premiere, which was coming up. She then described in more detail what happened. Ventura said Combs hit her, so she decided to leave. An escort named Jules was still in the hotel suite at the time. Ventura said, after he hit me, and I just saw the result of it, I knew I had to get out. So when he was distracted, I don't know exactly what he was doing. He was either in the shower or on the phone. I just grabbed my stuff and ran out as fast as I could.
Okay, that's when she was saying that Diddy was beating her up and making her stay in the freak off. That same thing. But what else was you doing?
Ventura responded, he didn't say much. But if we were in the freak off, he would be encouraging me to get up and continue on with it in that condition. Those were not the only drugs Ventura said Combs would ask her or escorts to take. Johnson asked, were there any occasions where Sean offered the escorts drugs like Viagra? Ventura responded, yeah. Johnson asked, and who else besides escorts did Sean offer Viagra to? Ventura responded, he offered it to me before. Johnson asked.
So they all was doing freak offs and popping Viagra pills like they were Tic Tacs.
From masturbation to touching, why would you ask him? Ventura said it was his fantasy. He was controlling the whole situation. He was directing it. He was doing the lighting. He was telling us where to be, what to say, how to act in the room. Johnson then asked, and you testified that you would sometimes move straight to oral sex. Why would you want to move to the next sex act? Ventura responded, I would just try to speed the process along. It was personally, if I get it done, then it's over. And then we move on to the next thing. I just wanted.
Man, she was doing everything. She was doing everything. And all the male sex workers was saying that Cassie was no victim. What about the male sex worker that came out and sued Cassie Ventura? You know what I'm saying? And said he was a victim of Cassie.
So good morning. I am Dave, the man who has just sued Cassandra Ventura for damages involved in the Sean Combs sex trafficking trial. And I'm looking through social media and I see a lot of the women out there, particularly black women like myself, who choose to victim shame me and try to do everything they can to discredit me, because the truth is that the loss of the Sean Combs trial was a loss to the Me Too movement and to hating women like the women.
And this dude right here was one of Cassie Ventura's victims. Pure survival. This is one of the male sex workers. And everybody made fun of him when he was a victim of Cassie and he was a victim of Diddy Glover. Nobody gave a damn about him.
Damages involved in the Sean Combs sex trafficking trial. And I'm looking through social media and I see a lot of the women out there, particularly black women like myself, who choose to victim shame me and try to do everything they can to discredit me, because the truth is that the loss of the Sean Combs trial was a loss to the Me Too movement and to hating women like the women who are trying to insult me. So let me tell you something, you women out there who would like to insult me. This is my story. I was paid by Cassie, Cassandra Ventura, for 8 years to be her male provider. I didn't have to be the best looking guy. I was the best in bed. And
Did you hear that? For 8 years, Cassie Ventura was paying this man with this tight do-rag, Pure Bible, was paying him for 8 years to be a male sex worker. He said, I didn't have to be the most handsomest guy, Pure Bible. You can see he looked like a frog in the face, but the whole thing is, well, like a fish. The whole thing is, you didn't have to be, it didn't matter what you look like. Cassie was going off of his sex performance. 8 years, and she's the victim.
the Sean Combs trial was a loss to the Me Too movement and to hating women like the women who are trying to insult me. So let me tell you something, you women out there who would like to insult me. This is my story. I was paid by Cassie, Cassandra Ventura, for 8 years to be her male provider. I didn't have to be the best looking guy. I was the best in bed. And because I was the best in bed, guess what? I was given this arrangement. I was coerced. I was drugged. I was manipulated with promises of money and gifts for over a period.
Do you hear that? Why ain't nobody talking about him being a victim? He was drugged and manipulated by Cassie Ventura, pure survival. You know what I'm saying? This is what this man is saying. One of their sex workers. I was manipulated. I was drugged. But because he's a dude, nobody gave a damn. And she sat there writing another letter. Did he gonna get the time he gonna get regardless? Because her Bible, God is good. But why would she write a letter to the judge when she was just as bad as my whole thing? You already wrote one letter. What about this victim right here?
Sean Combs' trial was a loss to the Me Too movement and to hating women like the women who are trying to insult me. So let me tell you something, you women out there who would like to insult me. This is my story. I was paid by Cassie, Cassandra Ventura, for 8 years to be her male provider. I didn't have to be the best looking guy. I was the best in bed. And because I was the best in bed, guess what? I was given this arrangement. I was coerced. I was drugged. I was manipulated with promises of money and gifts for over a period of 8 years to continue to be this woman's provider at her expense and at the expense of Diddy. Now, at the time, legally, I didn't know my rights as well as I do now. I didn't create this conflict with Cassandra Ventura. She created it with me. She's the one who decided to bring up things that happened over 10 to 15 years ago to hold Sean Combs accountable for what was a partial truth. She's the person who introduced me to the U.S. Attorney's Office. She's the person who told the U.S. Attorney's Office about our relationship. So in essence, those out there who want to hate on me, who want to say that I'm attacking Cassie, you should realize the truth, that Cassandra Ventura, your idol, did this to herself.
You hear that? Cassie Ventura, your idol, did this to herself. This is a real guy that Cassie was paying money to clap her cheeks, to urinate down her motherfucking throat, pure Bible. You know what I'm saying? What about that? So I can't look at this letter and be like, oh, Cassie was such a victim. I didn't call her. Only time I call her a victim in the beginning, before I went to the trial, before I heard all of the goddamn shit. You know what I mean? This girl is just as bad, maybe even worse than Diddy Glover.
Exposed herself to liability when she got on the stand and decided to mention me as the male escort who was with her when she overdosed and Diddy made her have sex with him. That was a lie, people. Cassie had just woke up from sleeping 8 hours. Myself and Sean Combs were exhausted. We wanted to go home.
Whoa! Did y'all just hear that? Cassie Ventura woke up after overdosing, pure survival. Him and Diddy Glover wanted to go motherfucking home. They said, Cassie, we had enough, pure survival. You are a goddamn beast. We can't take no more of that kitty cat. Real pure survival. So Cassie done passed out, almost died, and woke up and demanded more ding-a-ling. She woke up and demanded more ding-a-ling. You know what I'm saying? And this is the girl whose letter to the judge, everybody, oh yeah, we feel it, Cassie, you're such a victim. Cassie wasn't no motherfucking victim.
that Cassandra Ventura, your idol, did this to herself. She exposed herself to liability when she got on the stand and decided to mention me as the male escort who was with her when she overdosed and Diddy made her have sex with him. That was a lie, people. Cassie had just woke up from sleeping 8 hours. Myself and Sean Combs were exhausted. We wanted to go home. Cassie's the one who forced that sexual encounter.
Wow.
People, she tells you that Sean Combs made her have sex on her menstrual cycle. I can't speak for anyone else but myself. But I know the one time that did happen, that Sean Combs was not responsible for that Cassie, in a drunken, intoxicated, hormonally imbalanced state due to her period, manipulated and forced herself on me during her menstrual cycle.
Wow. Do y'all hear this? Cassie was on her period. Remember, she lied and said that Diddy Glover made her have sex with all of that ketchup coming out of her vagina? Guess what, damn it? Cassie forced the sex while she was on her menstrual cycle. That girl ain't no victim. Hell no.
Did this to herself. She exposed herself to liability when she got on the stand and decided to mention me as the male escort who was with her when she overdosed and Diddy made her have sex with him. That was a lie, people. Cassie had just woke up from sleeping 8 hours. Myself and Sean Combs were exhausted. We wanted to go home. Cassie's the one who forced that sexual encounter. People, she tells you that Sean Combs made her have sex on her menstrual cycle. I can't speak for anyone else but myself. But I know the one time that did happen, that Sean Combs was not responsible for that Cassie, in a drunken, intoxicated, hormonally imbalanced state due to her period, manipulated and forced herself on me during her menstrual cycle. And what I mean by that is I had no knowledge she was on her menstrual cycle because the room was completely dark. She manipulated the room. She manipulated the environment to get what
Wow. She manipulated the environment. Smash that like button, guys. And if y'all don't want to, that's fine with me. If y'all want to still feel like this girl is a goddamn victim, I'm not saying that Diddy's this great motherfucking person. I'm saying that the man was convicted of prostitution. How in the hell is prostitution 11 motherfucking years? 11 to 20 years? For paying these men that Cassie was also paying, pure survival, to butter her biscuit. Cassie turned the lights off, pitch black, knowing that her vagina was bleeding like a motherfucker, and tricked this man into sliding down her slip and slide down her bloody vagina sliding board. This is crazy, guys.
was not responsible for that Cassie, in a drunken, intoxicated, hormonally imbalanced state due to her period, manipulated and forced herself on me during her menstrual cycle. And what I mean by that is I had no knowledge she was on her menstrual cycle because the room was completely dark. She manipulated the room. She manipulated the environment to get what she wanted, and then she totally got up like I was the one who should have been grateful. You're on your period. That's disgusting, and I deserved more respect than that.
Wow.
As a man, if I had laid down with a woman and forced myself on her and orgasmed in her and she got up and it was leaking out of her, guess what? I would have raped her. So by statute, by case law definition, Cassandra Ventura sexually assaulted me.
Whoa. So this man was sexually assaulted by Cassie Ventura. Pure survival. Why can a man be a victim? You know what I'm saying? And to me, that is a goddamn victim. If you not telling a man that you're on your period, pure survival, and you force that nasty ketchup spraying kitty cat, real pure survival, on this man, my heart goes out to this man. Oh my God, I'm ready to burst out crying. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a conversation you're supposed to have with your partner. You know what I'm saying? If you're in a relationship, okay, baby, all right, we're going to do it while we on your period, whatever. Some shit you do when you're young, growing up, and you try it out with your partner, your relationship, when you're in a relationship. But some motherfuckers ain't trying to run the goddamn red light. She turned the lights off and forced that shit on this man. Man, listen, prayers go out to this guy right here, man. Smash that like button.
I was the one who should have been grateful. You're on your period. That's disgusting, and I deserved more respect than that. As a man, if I had laid down with a woman and forced myself on her and orgasmed in her and she got up and it was leaking out of her, guess what? I would have raped her. So by statute, by case law definition, Cassandra Ventura sexually assaulted me. I'm not looking to destroy Cassie. I've given Cassie more than a year to settle this before things got out of control. The problem is she's being supported by women like you who would choose to to attack male victims instead of accept the truth, which is that a woman could have lied to get revenge on the ex-boyfriend who broke her heart and hurt her. It happens, people. They say hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, and that's true.
And I totally agree with him. So all of these women out here attacking this man and attacking this man's do-rag, like y'all don't know, especially even women that know that if you scorn, if a man hurt you, y'all know y'all would do everything under the sun. Pure Bible, flat the motherfucker's tires, tear his car up, tear his crib up. You know what I'm talking about? Try to ruin his whole entire life. Call the police on him. Say he beat you up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying for the woman that's scorned, I know what that looks like. Y'all can act like y'all don't know. This man was a victim of Cassie.
Asking more than a year to settle this before things got out of control. The problem is she's being supported by women like you who would choose to attack male victims instead of accept the truth, which is that a woman could have lied to get revenge on the ex-boyfriend who broke her heart and hurt her. It happens, people. They say hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, and that's true. If you hurt some women, they will do everything in their power. If you hurt some men, they'll do everything in their power to hurt you. But I want to end this by saying this. Cassie did this to herself. They say he who sets out on a course of revenge should dig 2 graves. People, Cassie dug the grave that is Clayton Howard herself. Cassie got on the stand trying to destroy Diddy. She should have took her $20-30 million and walked into the sunset, people. She should have never gotten on the stand and created further liability for herself by telling more of the lie that she created to get this man sent to prison for his life.
Y'all see that? So like he said, Cassie should have went and ran off in the sunset. You got $30 million. You trying to get this man life in prison when you was doing the same nasty, freaky, deaky shit that I was doing. Pure Bible. I don't give a damn who feel different. I don't even want nobody to take nobody out the chat either, because I don't care. You know what I'm saying? That girl ain't no goddamn victim at all. She was just as guilty.
People, Cassie dug the grave that is Clayton Howard herself. Cassie got on the stand trying to destroy Diddy. She should have took her $20-30 million and walked into the sunset, people. She should have never gotten on the stand and created further liability for herself by telling more of the lie that she created to get this man sent to prison for his life. She made a mistake when she got on the stand, people. She made a mistake when she got on the stand and lied about the events with Clayton Howard. Clayton Howard is a victim of Cassandra Ventura. Clayton Howard didn't ask to be in a relationship with Cassandra Ventura.
Now he is Clayton Howard. Cassie mentioned him on the stand. This is the guy she mentioned on the stand while claiming she was a victim, Clayton Howard. And Clayton Howard is saying something totally different than Mrs. Ventura. You know what I'm talking about? He's saying something totally different.
Created further liability for herself by telling more of the lie that she created to get this man sent to prison for his life. She made a mistake when she got on the stand, people. She made a mistake when she got on the stand and lied about the events with Clayton Howard. Clayton Howard is a victim of Cassandra Ventura. Clayton Howard didn't ask to be in a relationship with Cassandra Ventura while she was sleeping with numerous men per week. I get it. You all think I was a nasty male prostitute sleeping with women, all different women all the time. It actually didn't work like that. To have certain types of people that can pay you that well, what you really have to do is you have to focus on people who are affluent. And affluent people don't engage in activities like that. So I might have had a client once a month. The truth is I was only a male escort for 2 years. I continued in the profession because Cassie and Diddy continued to pay me very well. And I was an ex-con. I needed money. I was trapped in the situation.
Now y'all see that? He's saying Diddy and Cassie. That's why I'm saying they both wanted it. This was a couple, a relationship. A boyfriend and a girlfriend. 2 crack motherfucking heads. Pure Bible, paying these male prostitutes, and he's an ex-convict. So they knew the man just came home from jail. Look, we can make your dreams come true. All you got to do is smash my girl. My girl is with it. Pure Bible, pee in her eyes. We're going to make sure we get you out the halfway house. You're going to be able to get your own crib. You're going to have a nice bank account. All of this. You know what I'm saying? And he coming from prison. He don't know if they're going to tell on him if he don't come use the dingling on both of them again. So Cassie is not no victim.
Have to do is you have to focus on people who are affluent. And affluent people don't engage in activities like that. So I might have had a client once a month. The truth is, I was only a male escort for 2 years. I continued in the profession because Cassie and Diddy continued to pay me very well, and I was an ex-con. I needed money. Yes, I was trapped in the situation. I'll admit that. I didn't know what to do. But does that mean I should be victim shamed because the same thing that happened to women all the time happened to me as a man? No. And for those women out there, for you black women who choose to shame me as a black man for telling my truth, you should be ashamed of yourself. That's probably pretty much all I have to say. You will not see me too much in the media. I don't need the public to believe me. I just need a jury of my peers and 12 people to believe me in a court. And thanks to the testimony of Cassie during the trial of Sean Combs, I have that. Thank you for watching. Stop victim shaming. Thank you.
Yes, stop victim shaming. You know what I'm saying? Just because he a dude. The Punisher said the same thing. The Punisher said that Cassie was no victim either.
Yeah. Her and her husband liked to create a sexy scene, one that her husband would eventually come out to watch. And during that first encounter, Diddy allegedly gave mostly subtle directions. The compensation for that rendezvous, $2,000. Under cross-examination, Hayes testified that Cassie did not appear uncomfortable during their encounters. He, quote, did not get any cues that there was a discomfort with what was going on. Over the 8 to 12 interactions, they all...
So why would this man say out of the 8 to 12 interactions with Cassie, he never seen her uncomfortable at all? She was gobbling, swallowing, and backing that motherfucker up like it ain't no tomorrow. Like it ain't no tomorrow. And y'all think I'm going to feel bad for that girl?
First of all, I'm just wondering what the reaction has been like in your life, knowing that this is such a high-profile case, and here you are in the spotlight in this way.
Yeah, it's been like a whirlwind. Constant outreach from media outlets like this, and just friends and family, people from junior high school actually reaching out just randomly, to check in and speak up. It's been a very interesting, trying week.
You've reflected, I think, in some time about what your testimony said and what is like in that courtroom. Can you tell me a little bit what it was like to be on that stand a few feet away from Sean Diddy Combs, who you obviously had been around before in these sexual encounters, but he was more of a voyeur at those times. What was it like being in the room in the courtroom?
Yeah, so I had to say...
See, he said Diddy was more like a voyeur at them times. Like he's sitting there with the mask on, just staring at the sex acts. Just staring at the sex acts. But he said Cassie didn't have no problem with it. All the other goddamn male sex workers said Cassie was with all of the smoke. So like I said, Cassie wrote another letter to the judge to try to get Diddy to get 11 to 20 years in prison when she was just as guilty as him. She could have been left Diddy Glover. I'm not trying to hear, oh, she was going to get killed if she would have left. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Cassie was just as a drug addict and a freak, just like motherfucking Diddy Glover. That's just what I got out the whole trial.
Because normally you are a dancer, and this was an interaction that would have resulted in sexual intercourse.
Exactly. So,
Okay.
Yeah, so this is nuance. It's not something that happens. I've done thousands of parties. This is the only time I was propositioned with something like this, and it was in such magnitude. Like we're in a Trump hotel, it's like these huge suites, and you can tell this is a very high-profile couple. So I just wanted to be as professional for the scenario as I would assume was required.
Did you ever travel outside of New York with them?
I did not.
When you were engaged in this encounter and intimate with Cassie Ventura, as you've said on the stand, you were asked about whether you had any notice or any idea how she felt about the interaction, whether she was consenting, whether she was uncomfortable in any way. You testified you did not feel as though she was uncomfortable at all. Can you explain?
Yeah, so there was always, like, before the sexual activity, there was always, like, downtime. So I would be greeted by Cassie, kind of put in a room, and we would have casual conversation.
About how long did that last?
So she would sit in the freak-off dungeon, conversating with the motherfucker bald-head Punisher, pure survival. She never whispered, said, look, go get help, I don't want this to happen. No, she's in that joint having the time of her fucking life.
10, 15 minutes, and it would be, consistent. How's work going? How's the parties? How's things? So it seemed like a very cordial, laid back situation. And I actually believed that the scenario was real. It was like her birthday. This was something they were doing as a couple that wasn't normal. I mean, that wasn't their norm. And I honestly thought I was the only person they were engaging with. So I had almost a belief that I was, wow, like this is a cool thing. Like I'm the person they're choosing for this kind of fetish type of environment. And
Nothing seemed illegal to you or anything out of sorts.
not even close. Like
He said nothing seemed illegal or out of any sort. That it seemed like a couple thing, something they both wanted to do.
like I'm the person they're choosing for this kind of fetish type of environment. And
Nothing seemed illegal to you or anything out of sorts.
not even close. Like I didn't even get any thought of anybody being like under the influence of any drugs or anything. It seems like a very, for the circumstance, everybody was just normally in their right state of mind, and this was just something they did for sexual pleasure.
You never saw any violence.
Nothing close.
Interestingly,
Never saw no violence, nothing close. So, like, that's all I got to say. Love the Halloween decorations. Thank you so much, Jessica. Pure Bible. You know what I'm saying? As I said, Diddy Glover's hearing, his sentencing is this Friday. Cassie Ventura wrote another letter to send Diddy Glover to the moon. Do I feel that she's an ex-girlfriend that's bitter, that's still, she hates Diddy's guts with all of her heart. So I feel like if anything, there's something that happened that wasn't even mentioned in the trial that she just never got over. Only thing I'm saying is she's not no victim in my eyes. Maybe years ago, but she had 10, 11 years to get away from Diddy Glover. All of the male sex workers said that she enjoyed it. She loved every minute. Even that one sex worker said, Cassie, you got $30 million. Why the fuck don't you go on your goddamn way? See that? Dowman says she's not no victim. No, she's not. You know what I mean? Shout out to you for that. And I refuse to stand here and cheer on, oh, Cassie wrote another letter. Oh, yes, give him life in prison. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to see what happened on Friday. Pure survival.